Mr. Speaker, I stand here today during Military Appreciation Month to recognize some of Virginia's many active duty service members, veterans, fallen heroes, and military families. Earlier this month, I reached out to families across Virginia's 7th District to gather their stories of service, detailing the courage and the unwavering commitment of Virginians who have answered the call to serve our country. As the daughter-in-law, and granddaughter of veterans, I am humbled to read some of the stories I received. Rick Pullen of Fredericksburg shared the story of his wife, Air Force Colonel Sherry Zadlow, whom he described as the first woman in nearly every job she had in her 27-year career. Colonel Zadlow built an airfield, saw missiles come right at her while she was a passenger in a military cargo plane, and was almost killed by a roadside bomb. A symbol of dedicated service to country, her maternity uniform is a part of the Women's Military Museum collection. Marie Atkins from Prince William shared the story of her late husband, Michael Atkins, who joined the U.S. Army when he was 17 years old. He served 2 tours in Vietnam, joined the Army Reserves, and served in the Gulf War. Upon returning home, Mr. Atkins married Mrs. Atkins. They had 2 daughters, and he enjoyed spending time with his 3 grandchildren. Committed to honoring his brothers in arms, he was a member of 2 motorcycle clubs, Rolling Thunder and Patriot Guard, which escorted fallen service members to burials in military cemeteries. Mr. Atkins is now buried with military honors at Quantico National Cemetery. Annette Weiner from Orange shared the story of her late father, U.S. Army Air Corps fighter pilot Walter Koziel. Of her father's service in World War II, she writes, "Few people know that he was among a few brave volunteers to be the first to try shooting projectile rockets off the P-51 Mustang. They were told that it was uncertain when the rockets would detonate and that they could light up while still on the wing. Dad said to himself, 'Well, somebody's got to do it.' He had guts and he loved his country," she wrote. I also heard from Clayton Hill from Stafford, who shared the story of his great-uncle, Wib Cooper, a U.S. Army veteran and doctor in the Pacific Theater during World War II, where my own grandfather served. Mr. Cooper was captured by Japanese forces and survived the horrific Bataan Death March. In Clayton's words, during that time, he stood up to his captors on behalf of other prisoners. He was decorated for his valor. Michelle from Stafford, who was born and raised in Germany, immigrated to the United States in 1980, and she shares that she always felt that service to country is the responsibility and duty of all citizens. She wrote, quote, "When I joined the Army, it was my way of giving back to a country that was to become my new home." She served for 8 years before transitioning into civilian service working for the U.S. government, and she retired after 35 years of total service to our country. Alexa Rice from Prince William wrote to honor many of her loved ones, her husband serving in the U.S. Army, currently on active duty, as well as her brother, who serves in the U.S. Marine Corps. Her husband has been deployed for the past 8 months, and Alexa's father served for more than 20 years in the Marine Corps. Her oldest brother serves in the Marines. Her grandfather served with both the Marine Corps and the U.S. Navy. She writes, quote, "It's with such gratitude that these special individuals, not just in my own family, but men and women all over, get the recognition and appreciation they surely earn and earned." Virginians who are serving, have served, or love someone who is serving or has served know the true meaning of sacrifice. We as Americans owe a debt of gratitude to every service member, past and present, who put on the uniform and defended our nation. I will continue working in Congress to pass legislation to connect Virginia's veterans and veterans across the country with the benefits and support they deserved and have earned. And I'll encourage all Americans to give thanks for the men and women in your life, in our communities who took up arms. And we must all remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our great country. We as Americans enjoy the promise of freedom because so many brave Virginians answered the call. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.